This is the Yanks Go Yard podcast with Adam Weinrib and Thomas Carinante.
Welcome on into the first episode of the week of the Yanks Go Yard podcast. I'm Adam Weinrib alongside Thomas Carinante for our first series recap of the year of the regular season. It's happening. Regular season ball in the New York Yankees take the first series of the year from the San Francisco Giants. Scrappy bunch, very annoying. Saturday's game showed you how annoying they can be when they are laying bunts down and situationally hitting and following singles with doubles, etc. But guess what? 2 of 3 games in this series, New York Yankees shut the Giants out. Opening day was as perfect as can be. You literally cannot ask for a better opening day. But would they be able to build an encore with Clark Schmidt and Johnny Brito starting games 2 and 3? Schmidt, not very good. Johnny Brito, beyond good to the point where it actually kind of outweighs how meh Clark Schmidt was. We're going to talk about the ins and outs. We know who the mystery pitcher we alluded to last week was, and he actually pitched today and was pretty good. We'll break down losing Estevan Florial on the roster as we anticipated we would. Pretty weird job handling that by the Yankees, but ultimately the end result was Colten Brewer in the bullpen. Plus, Aaron Boone puts IKF in center field on a windy day. We'll grade him in an AL East roundup beyond the Yankees-Giants series, which again, not so bad. Make sure to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Drop us a 5-star review, mailbag question if you don't mind in that review. And again, no fewer than 5 stars. That helps neither of us. You want to drop a 0-star? Obviously, that satisfies you. You had something to get off your chest. 3-star, even you are walking away from that feeling like, what did I even just do? Like, what did that do for me? Absolutely nothing. So 5-star or nothing, please, unless you want to get your anger out. We'll be honest. Like, I could tell you not to leave a 0-star review, but if you want to, you can. It's a free country, but please don't do that. And you can find us on all podcast platforms, as well as streaming on YouTube, typically Mondays and Thursdays, 2 o'clock Eastern, but we wanted to go live after the first series of the year. Giancarlo Stanton homer yesterday, homer today, 485 damn feet, as Drunk is alluding to in the comments. I don't know what he has against the English vernacular and people saying moonshot, but this was a moonshot. I don't really know. Maybe we vary it up a little bit, though. Valid. Thomas Carinante, welcome to the show. Feels good to be doing this after a win rather than a loss. Yesterday, as annoying as it gets, but 1 game out of 162, and today rights the ship. And you have a very special offer for the folks who stuck with it all series long and maybe might want to change their bets moving forward.
Yeah, come on, baby. For the folks in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, Yankee Land, you know where it's at. Head on over to DraftKings.com or download the app. If you head there and you're a first-time user, you punch in the code Yanks Go Yard and bet $5 on any sport, you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You could have done it opening day, like I told you to, with Garrett Cole. Could have done it today, taking a risk with Johnny Brito. Either way, this is a great way to support the podcast. This helps us directly. It helps us continuing to pop on the airwaves and talk to you. So we appreciate it greatly. We appreciate your viewership and your readership too. This is a really good offer, especially for folks who are, getting into that gambling game. I know it. You put in your micro bets, you have a little bit of fun, you stay responsible. It's a good time. So if you head on over to DraftKings.com or if you download the app, punch in Yanks Go Yard. You bet $5 on any sport. You get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. It's a minimum $5 deposit and wager required. New customers only. You must be 21 years and older and present in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. In New York, if you have a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. If you're in New Jersey, call text 1-800-GAMBLER. If you're in Connecticut, call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. See full terms and conditions at DraftKings.com or in the description below. Responsible betting, folks. I could tell you all about it. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, the micro bets are a great call. Don't follow my micro bets. I put like 7 micro bets on national champions, and I knew UConn was going to be in the national championship. I knew they were probably going to win it, and I still scrolled right on by them and was like, no need. Probably don't bet that. Why? Why didn't I bet that? I don't know. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. They're one of the 6 most dominant teams in NCAA tournament history. They have like 103 margin heading into the final, all wins. San Diego State's going to be their most annoying challenge yet, but they're still going to win the title, probably. So I probably should have done that. I had great money on Texas, too. Smart Dumb. Should have bet money on UConn. I think it was the same odds. Stupid moron. But you know who's
Yeah.
not dumb? Aaron Boone today.
No, not yet.
For starting Johnny Brito in the third game. This could have been Domingo Germán territory. They went with Clark Schmidt in the second game, and I think for a while the assumption was they'd go Domingo Germán in the third. Somehow it ends up as Johnny Brito. Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe it's just who's ready, keeping people on turn. Maybe some of that's keeping Johnny Brito away from the NL champion Philadelphia Phillies lineup, who are coming in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know, but either way, Johnny Brito was the most impressive thing I saw all weekend long. And I'm gonna let's start with most impressive, and then we'll go to least impressive just to take everybody through it. Johnny Brito start edges out Clark Schmidt's start. No, sorry. What am I talking about? Edges out Garrett Cole's start very slightly for the most impressive thing I saw this weekend, only because the Cole start, it was a relief to see him be dominant on opening day, but it's kind of the name of the game. You know, you're not supposed to set the Yankees opening day strikeout record, but you're supposed to take the ball and look good. Johnny Brito, nobody knew what to expect. We knew he was named the best control pitcher in the Yankee system 2 years running by Baseball America. We know we liked what we saw in spring training. We know we liked him throwing 5+ perfect innings last week in his final spring training start against the Blue Jays. But what really is that? You know, what's a spring training start against the Blue Jays? Well, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts today, and a 0 ERA heading into his second start. That's the thing that impressed me the most and honestly had me wondering, who keeps their rotation spot longer, Clark Schmidt or Johnny Brito? I mean, if we're doing it after one start, it is not a tough decision, and it's not the more experienced guy.
Yeah. I was wildly impressed with Brito today with the velocity and with the, dotting the corners. He seemed to have it all. Also, where was this guy? I understand. Look, it's the first start. No teams really have the scouting report. So usually these types of MLB debuts go in favor of the pitcher because the opposing team doesn't really have much information on them. But I mean, look good in spring, look good now, seems to be pretty good. And he was at the bottom of the Yankees farm system rankings per all these outlets. So
I think he's 27th best in the system per pipeline, which that's nice. But
especially he's hitting 100. He was hitting 100 today, right? Like,
well, the change up too. It's like the first at bat, you knew he had something. I think an MLB debut is either advantage the pitcher or advantage the hitters by a ton. Like, there's no in between. Either the pitcher is executing and the hitters are like, we were not prepared for this, or the pitcher AB1 4-pitch walk, AB2 5-pitch walk, and you're like, you're not making it past 5 batters. Like, you have no chance. And Brito immediately, the changeup diving away 88 miles an hour, you're like, he has something. And right away, you can question the Yankees all you want for not adding more starting depth, and Brito was not supposed to be in the rotation, wasn't supposed to be even in the second level of rotation options, and now he's in there. But you watch one Johnny Brito inning, and you're like, yeah, I don't really want to trade anything for Chris Flexen now. I'm good. Yeah. I can wait for the guys. Maybe I make a move if Rodon's injury gets worse, Severino misses extra time. But right now, I'm not rushing to get an average arm in here just to knock Brito out of the rotation or Schmidt to the bullpen. Brito has real stuff. And if he's command first and he attacks the zone, that's huge.
Absolutely. And props to the Yankees for standing their ground, trusting with what they have in the organization, because, most other teams with all the injuries the Yankees suffered at the onset probably would have been like, hey, we got to get another starter. We got to do it now. We're not going to waste any time. And that market was probably as elevated as it could possibly be, because starting pitching is always acquired at a premium when you're talking about losing 3/5 of your rotation. Other front offices are going to take advantage of that and try to get the best return price possible. But yeah, I love what I saw from Brito. In terms of most impressive for me, Ron Marinaccio stood out. He had three in the third, really good innings, 6 strikeouts over the weekend. Stanton rebounded after Saturday. He held himself accountable after Saturday's loss, after grounding out in those 2 big spots, and then comes up today with the 485-foot bomb. But I gotta be a homer and just go with Anthony Volpe, because it was his first ever appearance in front of the New York crowd at Yankee Stadium. He got 2 hits yesterday. He was hitless on Thursday and today, but he's just a threat. You could tell how everything has changed when he gets on base. You saw it today. The Giants pitchers, when he got on, the one time couldn't, they were distracted the entire time he was, at first base, and then he ended up stealing third. So I like the manner in which that this is already making an impact, even though he only got 2 hits over the weekend. And the fans are loving him. He got the roll call from the bleacher creatures, which was awesome. And he seems super comfortable. And that's really all you could ask for. We talked about this kind of in different levels since he was at AA. It's like, all right, can he handle AAA? All right, cool. Can he handle spring training? All right, can he handle opening day? To me, he's checked all the boxes. And even though it wasn't the most, fire-breathing start from him, I think it's as good of a start as you're going to get from somebody who's never been at the MLB level.
Yeah, he's stolen 3 bases in 3 days. He stole third base today. You want to talk about poise? Like, he's taking his walks, but also 3 stolen bases in 3 games. They changed the rules to make it easier, but it's not supposed to be that easy. Like, we talked in spring training, the speed pops. You can know he stole 50 bases in the minors last year, but until you see it, you don't know how fast he is. He is really fast. So fast. Yeah, extremely poised debut. 2 hits yesterday, 2 stolen bases his first 2 games, 1 more today. And he started all 3 of these games. Should have been leading off, in my humble opinion. I don't really need Gleyber Torres in the leadoff spot ever when DJ LeMahieu's on the bench. I don't mind it. And obviously Aaron Boone messed around a little bit today. It's funny because the Yankees, this is game 3 of 162, right? Objectively, not that important. I wouldn't even call this taking their foot off the gas pedal. You got to start your bench at some point. Put your backup catcher in. He homered today. You put IKF in a windstorm in center field. I might not have done that, but it worked out okay. I'm not going to complain about the lineup in game 3, but maybe you don't need to mess
DJ on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't he need the most? I'm not going to complain about it either. Why is he on the bench? He needs a lot of reps. He's been cold the last couple of years because of these injuries. If Stanton plays the field 2 games in a row and then is in the starting lineup again on Sunday, there's no reason DJ LeMahieu shouldn't be in the lineup. But yeah, 2 wins, we'll take it.
And thank God Stanton was in the lineup today, because without that 485-foot home run that went to places where balls don't go, the Yankees don't have quite as easy a time. Thing I liked the least obviously comes from yesterday. But ultimately, if you win the series, it's the San Francisco Giants. They're not a bad team. They're a 500-ish team. They don't really have the pitching depth that a contender has. Ross Stripling is not a number 3 starter. Didn't look good today. Alex Cobb is someone I've honestly been intrigued by at the trade deadline the past year or so. Stuff looked good yesterday. Threw a ball into center field. Yankees probably should have swept this series. And they don't, because, yesterday had the 2 most annoying things that you can have. And at the end of the series, when you win the series, it's just like, it's a reminder that baseball is a good watch and a long season. No one's going to get bent out of shape over winning 2 out of 3 in any series, especially not one to start the season. The Yankees have not started 2-0 in a season in back-to-back years since 2000, 2001. Doesn't happen, not normal. They don't do that very often. So they lose yesterday's game, and it's like an 8.5 out of 10 on the pain scale in terms of a loss, if it wasn't the second game of the season. Like, botched opportunities with runners in scoring position, bullpen sucks, key bullpen guys suck. Giancarlo Stanton comes up with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 9th inning in a rainstorm and kind of rips the ball, but for a double play, it ends the game. Botched replay review. The runner's probably safe at second, probably out at first. They don't overturn anything. It should probably be 7-6 with runners on. The home plate umpire strikes Aaron Hicks out, even though he should have walked on the 3-1 pitch. Everything about it built up. It's an 8.5 out of 10. It would be a 10 if not for no blown save, right? If the Yankees have blown a save, that's a 10 out of 10. But it's an 8.5 or a 9. Pretty annoying way to lose a baseball game for many reasons. And the 10-minute sequence where the Red Sox won their game after into the final out. The final out is made, but the Orioles left fielder straight up drops a fly ball. It's not even a wind-blown pop-up. It's not a ground ball throwing error. It's literally a ball in his glove that he drops. Next batter hits a 2-run.
It was in the glove. It was literally in the glove.
It was in the glove. It was in the glove to the point where, until I watched it on replay, I was like, they should just call that an out. Like, it was just as much of an out it was just as much of an out as when a guy drops a transfer at second. It was like, how the fuck did that ball get out of the glove? It was in the glove. The play ended, but then the ball was on the ground. So the 10 minutes where that happened, where the Yankees, I honestly walked from bar to bar. It's the most harrowing thing that can happen to a Yankee fan. I'm at the bar. I'm outside watching. Starts raining with Rizzo up. So we leave. We try to go to an indoor bar. I hear everybody cheering. I know something good happened. I catch a TV in a pizza place. I see the Red Sox walked off. I go, fuck. I get to the next bar. I walk in and see Giancarlo Stanton in the dugout. I go, fuck, that's not good. I check my phone to see how the Red Sox walk off, and I'm about to lose. Like, it's the worst 5 minutes you can possibly have. But that said, rolls off your back ultimately. The Red Sox pitching looks dreadful. We'll talk about them later. Offense looks as good as we thought. We'll talk about that later as well, I'm sure. But the thing that bothered me the most, other than just like, hey, really big bummer of a loss, is that Clay Holmes looked really bad. And Michael King's stat line looks pretty bleak, but he had a good inning of work in there. Second inning, he gets dinked and dunked to death, gives up a couple hard hits, but still should have worked his way out of that inning. Second and third, no outs, hits a guy, gets a strikeout with the bases loaded, gives up an infield bleeder to Jose Trevino, and then gets a line drive to short. Then Anthony Volpe loses his footing on and gives up an additional run. Like, it's annoying that happened. I'm not going to kill Michael King because his second inning of work was a little wonky. Clay Holmes came in and was legit bad at the end of that game. And so I'm not going to say, yeah, I'm a 10 on the concern scale for Clay Holmes. Would have liked to see him pitch better in his first appearance of the year, coming off a bad second half.
Yeah, you're right. I caught none of Saturday's action. I got to see 2 wins
at all.
I watched 2 full games. I got to see 2 full wins. I absolved myself from the loss, so pat on my back. But I watched the highlights. I watched a decent amount. I watched a decent rerun of Clark Schmidt's start. I am yet to be impressed, and I don't know how this is going to be a long-term solution for the Yankees until he's able to prove himself on a consistent basis. He has the stuff, which is frustrating. It's there. I don't know what the issue is with him not being able to either last as long as he needs to. I think the third time through the lineup killed him this time. He got through 3 1/3, or was it the second time through the lineup? I don't. Either way, it wasn't good with the amount of hard contact that he gave up and the home runs that he gave up. I know that there's another potential role for him as a multi-inning reliever, but that's kind of hit or miss for me too. He came up as a starter his entire career. He likes starting. And I'm not saying this one outing is kind of indicative of what's to come, but you know how life works in New York. You got to move fast. We've seen a lot of Clark Schmidt over the last few years. Maybe it hasn't been enough to fully develop him into the kind of pitcher that the Yankees have wanted to. But that's, it's not always as linear as you want it to be. So he's going to need to prove something in his next outing. I understand the Giants are not the worst team in the world, but they're a middling offense. It's the second game of the season, which means the advantage is always pitching. It's never hitting. So the fact that he kind of unraveled in the manner in which that he did is a little bit concerning. Will still encourage him to perform well in the following outings and hope that he does. But I don't like to keep saying this, but every time I see him pitch, I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah, for me, he's not my most disappointing just because I went into that start thinking he was a middle reliever, and I left it thinking he was a middle reliever. Three solid innings, but not great. The third inning was good, pitched around a lot of trouble early. Location was terrible, and it caught up to him in the fourth. And the lefty stuff, the cutter was supposed to be the difference maker, is going to start neutralizing lefties and change his potential portfolio. It didn't do anything at all. Exit velocities in the third inning, 111.7, 96.7, 102.4, 105.3. No, that's not Anthony Volpe's dad scrolling the talk radio dial. That's a bunch of lefties pummeling Clark Schmidt. And it was like the first time through the order, I think they went 1 for 5 against him, and then 4 for 5 the second time. Maybe 3 for 5, but it's just, second time through the order, all the lefties were like, all right, I know what I'm seeing here. And that's why I think it's an honest question. If Johnny Brito, it's one start, there's not a lot to go on, but there's no reason for me why when someone like Rodon comes back, if it's in 3 weeks, that you would say Brito does not have the higher upside than Clark Schmidt to stay in that 5 spot.
Yeah, he's proved himself early on. I know that one start is not going to do that for you in terms of dictating the future, but it's kind of more than what Clark Schmidt has offered at this point. That's probably better than any Clark Schmidt start. Quote me on that and then prove me wrong, but I think that that's probably better than any Clark Schmidt start that we've seen since he's been a Yankee.
It's funny playing the Giants because that's the offense that a lot of old school Yankees Twitter wants the Yankees to be. It's like singles, doubles, speed, bunts, creativity, but like they're not very good most of the time. They had 2 games where they did not scratch a run across, didn't really come close. A couple times they had the leadoff man on. He was erased on a double play in both the opener and in this one. First and second no outs against Jimmy Cordero, and he rebounded and got him up 4-0. A couple times they were gifted base runners and couldn't cash in. I mean, that's what it's like if you don't have that home run power up and down the lineup. You end up with a lineup like the Giants where Jock Peterson has the only real chance to make today's game interesting. He pops out and yells fuck. And the man who closed out today's game, I do want to talk about because it was Colten Brewer, and he's the mystery pitcher. We talked about it last game. Aaron Boone says we're looking to get a deal done. Hopefully, we get it done before Saturday, Friday's game. Then later after we go through that whole list of free agent pitchers, Colten Brewer's not even on it because we weren't thinking about him. They swing a trade late night. They bring him on, and they bring him onto the roster yesterday in DFA Estevan Florial. Curve is kind of nice. 6 outs. He faced the top of the lineup, had no real problems today. That was nice. How often have the Yankees turned the ball over to a Luis Cessa or somebody else up 6 or 7 with 3 outs to go, and suddenly it's 7-3, second and third, 2 outs. Lasagna's warming. They didn't really have a bullpen today. It was just Marinaccio and Loaizaga, and Loaizaga didn't have to pitch. So that was nice. That was a good job by Colten Brewer. It's weird, though, because the Yankees talked this spring about how they weren't going to get fooled by spring stats. And, Anthony Volpe, Peraza, IKF, we're not just going to make a snap decision based on what we're seeing here. And they didn't. But then again, they're preaching larger sample size. We're not going to go nuts here. The last 2 people they've acquired have been small sample size kings, guys who just dominated spring training. Franchi Cordero didn't get an at-bat in this series, but hit 400 with the Orioles in spring training. And Colten Brewer, this spring, he's got a long track record with the Red Sox of being pretty bad. I mean, not that long, but he was an unsuccessful Boston Red Sox. This spring with the Rays, they love their X-Rays. 9 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no earned, 15 Ks and 3 walks. And they go, yeah, get him. Go get that. He didn't make a roster. Go get that guy. Was that the best use of Estevan Florial? I'm not a big Florial fan, and neither are you. We have to wait to see what the return is there. They'll get something for him in trade, probably. But all in all, after holding on to him for that long, it was a reliever with a middling career who they're going to try to harness, which they do successfully a lot. But just, again, another one of these guys.
Yeah, we were underwhelmed by this when the news dropped. Didn't really know what to expect. I don't know initially why they would have done this instead of just bring up one of the other guys who probably needed a little bit of work. Maybe they want them at AAA, I guess. I don't know. Brewer, like you said, not an impressive track record whatsoever. And he's brought in, I guess he's going to be the last guy. Who's ahead of it's got to be him and Abreu at this point, last guy in the bullpen.
Yeah, and Abreu was awesome yesterday. It's like, that's why you can't react too much to early season stuff, because if you were, you'd be like, God, I'm going to promote that Abreu kid. Like, we know what Albert Abreu is. I'm not making any judgment off that.
Yeah, only newborns think Albert Brewer is good at this point.
Think about those newborns, though. The first game they watched is yesterday. It's a terrible loss, but hopefully they stuck around for today because you got some fireworks. Pretty fun.
Brewer being here, I mean, he's my MVP for today. That was fun. That was fun to watch him come in. And like you said, I mean, how many times have we been gifted these larger leads and you bring somebody in for the mop-up duty and it never goes the Yankees' way. You're up. Now that, thank God, the pitch clock is here now, because usually we'd be up till midnight as the bases just keep getting loaded over and over again. And it's
so counterintuitive. Like, you're up a lot. All right, so let me bring in my absolute worst pitcher. Oh, he was bad? Oh, okay, great. Now I'll bring in somebody better. Like, it's always annoying to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, we were admittedly underwhelmed by this. Another aspect of this that kind of, am I upset? No, but why do you do that to Estevan Florial? Why? Like, don't bring him to the opening day roster if you're not going to keep him. Just go with one guy less, and wait, unless the rules state you absolutely need 26 guys up with the roster, then okay, I get it. But you knew he wasn't going to be there. Yankees fans knew that he wasn't suitable outside of being a defensive replacement, coming up as the last guy on the bench, later in games or whatever. And then you bring him up to New York. I guess maybe in this scenario, give him the falsest of hope possible. And then you acquire a bad reliever and then jettison him off the roster instead of just cutting your losses even earlier. I would have even said last year. This guy could have gotten on with his career. I don't know what they're going to get for him, but hey, if Brewer's figured it out, I don't know the extent of him figuring it on the long haul, because look, when the Rays make trades with people, they're usually 5 steps ahead. I know it's a cliche to say at this point, but if they thought he was good enough after his 8 1/3 scoreless innings in spring, they probably would have kept him. The Rays notoriously have bullpen arms up and down that can torture you for an entire afternoon. But I don't know if they would trade one that they truly thought was a threat to a division rival. Nonetheless, great debut. Sweatless debut. I like that. I like that on my Sunday afternoons. Now I can have my Sunday dinner and not worry about a thing.
I didn't sweat at all. It's very nice. Just so everybody knows, though, the guys the Yankees did demote who could come back, but are currently at AAA. Matt Crook, 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks across 2 outings at AAA already. And Davy Garcia yesterday kept the velo up, 2 2/3, 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Again, not going to declare Davy Garcia back, but remember when he went to AAA last year and had a 7.5 ERA and walked everybody he faced and threw 91 miles an hour?
That was bad.
I prefer this. That was bad. This is better. And you know what's best? Betting. Wow. DraftKings, are you a new customer? New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, specifically in those states, within the lines of those states? Don't just be in the area of Connecticut. Be within Connecticut.
Be in it.
Get your New Haven pizza and be in that state. If you're interested in becoming a new customer to DraftKings and you're 21 plus and present in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, again, I guess, they don't take your home address. They just geolocate you. So maybe you bet, maybe you're in Connecticut for the day and you want to take advantage of this special offer. Then you're dipping back to New Bedford. Maybe you're a shitty Red Sox fan and you're over the border for 1 day only and you want to take advantage of our code. You can. We love you. The code is Yanks Go Yard. Bet $5 on any sport. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Minimum $5 deposit wager required. New customers only. Again, 21 plus and present in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Gambling problem? I hope not. If you do, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In New York and New Jersey, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Never texted a 1-800 number before, but might be worth a try. And in Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. See full terms of DraftKings are in the description below. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa played center field today, and I would have lost that bet. If I'd bet on will it be in the opening series, I would have said no way. But yeah, 3rd game of the year. Aaron Boone just playing the fuck around game, but did not find out IKF on a windy day. Wind tunnel, it ended up being kind of normal by first pitch, kind of felt like 50 in the 40s. Not so bad. I'm going to give him a B+, only because the offense is still negligible, not getting much there. But you saw Oswaldo on Sunday and left. It's a tough sun field out there. Fly ball got him at some point. Pretty frustrating to see him make that kind of crazy play. And Ryan McKenna in left field for the Orioles can't squeeze a fucking final out right into the glove. But Oswaldo made a crazy play. Might have changed the game if he hadn't made it. IKF had to deal with that in his first game in the outfield. And kudos to IKF for going out there and battling. I'm not going to, again, not waving the flag and being like, I've seen enough. He's a backup center fielder for sure. But had a tough-ish play coming into the first. Made it. Fly ball to the wall. Didn't have to leap. No drama, but made it. Had one slightly elevated play, a couple of routine chances, and didn't cause any trouble. So I'm going to give him a B+. It's fine.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. you got to get an A. Yeah, I mean, you get an A with a good offensive performance. We know what to expect out of IKF at this point. Think about the pressure that was for him. He's coming off of last season where fans were frustrated with him. He dealt with, all kinds of fan abuse and insults and things like that. So that's in your head. And then you get your first start of the season in a position I don't think he's even ever played at the outfield at the major league level.
No.
Center field, which is the hardest outfield position. He's out there. Good footwork, good judgment. I mean, I know maybe the bar is a little bit low, but that's impressive to me because playing defense in Major League Baseball is hard. The fact that he's able to play all around the diamond in the manner in which that he does, above average defender at every position, just not master of none, but very good at the rest. Props to him for holding strong there and battling the sun, battling the wind. Not an easy thing to do if you ever played outfield before. It's hard even to play outfield in slow pitch softball. So imagine what it's like in fast pitch baseball. Good job, IKF.
He took it and ran with it, and he also volunteered his services. I'm
not
a diehard IKF fan, but he knew he was not winning the shortstop job, and he went out and played left and played center. Aaron Hicks didn't win the starting left field job. Pinch hit once in this series. You know what he did today? During the game, Brendan Cuddy dropped an article where he said, quote, I have no idea what my role is, quote. Another quote, I just want to play. I don't want to come off the bench and face closers all day. I want to play the field. I want to play every day, and it's just what I want to do. Great. I'd want to do that too. You have not earned the right to do that. And I got into it, obviously, with people booing him for pregame intros before opening day. I still don't think people should have done that, but any other time you see him, you can boo him. This guy sucks. This guy does not get it at all. Not even a little bit. And I only did not want to ruin the pomp and circumstance. This guy's one of the worst. That's insane. That game 3 of the season. Yeah. It's right to wonder if you're somehow like near Franchi Cordero on the depth chart and why IKF is playing a new position instead of you. But at the end of the day, you want to start. I know you want to start. He said some of the same stuff last year. We ran him into the ground then. We'll do it again now. I know you want to start. Why should you? Why would you start? You wouldn't start. You want to go start somewhere else? Make that happen.
Maybe. This is if I'm him, I'm also frustrated because I get booed on opening day. I'm still going to be in opposition of the fans who did that because you don't want to ruin the moment. You want to have good vibes coming into the season. So maybe he's feeling a certain way about that, which maybe pushed him to say something. Also, don't forget, the Yankees are bad at communicating. We had the whole thing with Gary Sanchez during the 2020 playoffs. He said he had no idea that he was going to be benched in the postseason in favor of Kyle Higashioka. You had the whole thing with IKF kind of during spring training. There was a lot of either lack of clarity with the fans or a lack of clarity with him on what his role would be moving forward. So the Yankees are not good at this also. But if you're Aaron Hicks, there is an element here where you kind of got to know your role a little bit. If you know you're already in the crosshairs of the fans, if you know you've wildly fallen out of favor, if you know that you're probably next on the chopping block if things go really wrong, I don't know why you think it's appropriate or good to say this. I don't know why you think that's going to help you. But here we are. Nothing really new. Last year, he had comments about being benched and was a little bit incredulous to the fact that happening. And then at some point, he was saying, if I'm the guy in the lineup, great. If not, then cool. It is what it is. Not really the attitude you want on this team, especially when the Yankees have seemingly turned their philosophy around. They're rewarding good play. They are punishing bad play. I know it's the start of the season, and Hicks probably thought he should have gotten a little bit more time in the opening series, but he didn't. Should probably understand why. Doesn't. This is probably one of the final. I mean, you know how long the Yankees drag these types of scenarios on, but this has to be one of the final straws.
The Yankees' all-new philosophy that you just pinpointed of rewarding good play and punishing bad play. It's about damn time.
Yeah.
It's innovative. It might be the new Moneyball, playing good players and letting bad players not play. Aaron Hicks, you're not good right now. Can't start. Let's round up the AL East just a little bit. Overreact. Sure. Way too early for this. But you want to talk about bad players. Chris Sale, what happened? Chris Bassitt, what happened? Chris Sale, 7 earned runs yesterday. The location was awful. Of course, the Red Sox do win that game and win the series because the Baltimore Orioles had some of the worst defense of all time. Again, the Red Sox schedule, this Orioles team at home, the Pirates at home, the Tigers on the road. Any loss they suffer during the first 9 games of the season, thumbs up, because 9-0 was a possibility. They're 2-1 now. Go Pirates. But Chris Sale can't be locating where he was locating yesterday. Dead central. After all the Chris Sale is back talk this spring, that was horrendous. The Red Sox, however, are one of just 3 teams in baseball history to score at least 9 runs in their first 3 games of the year. Fenway will do that to you. Fenway in the winter will definitely do that to you. The Orioles pitching staff will do that to you. But I think that tells us a lot about the Red Sox. Good offense, sloppy game, sloppy pitching. Never bet on them, but they could win any game with offense alone. The pitching is bleak. And the Baltimore Orioles tells us a lot about them too. Maybe it was not the correct decision to add almost nothing to last year's burgeoning playoff contender. They seem poised to take a step back as well. Sadly, the Tampa Bay Rays look as good as any team. Again, playing the Tigers, who might be the worst team in baseball by a significant margin. But the Rays pitching staff, led by Jeffrey Springs' dominance today, jumps off the page. And the Blue Jays so far, not so great, not showing me much of anything. And that Bassitt start, which again, it's fun to read out. I just like to read it out so that everybody can know what Chris Bassitt did today. 3 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 9 earned runs, no walks, 4 Ks, 4 homers allowed. No walks, nice, but you got to keep the ball in the ballpark. So the 2 Chris's, the 2 worst starts out of the AL East this week, and that's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Sale couldn't have handled opening day, so we were right about that. Looks like the Blue Jays, after 3 games, did not get better year over year, which is something that we've talked about at length and fought Toronto fans in our mentions. And they got lucky in that opening day game against the Cardinals because Wilson Contreras went down and who was the backup catcher?
Andrew Knizner.
Andrew Knizner dropped strike 3. And the inning extended and the Blue Jays continued to score. They won that game 10-9. But yeah, outside of that, you can see that the offense for them, because the Cardinals do not have an impressive pitching staff, has been downgraded based on the moves that they made in the offseason. Clip this and tell me about it later when things turn around for a week. Orioles, idiots. You're very dumb. That error at the end of the game, infuriating. And again, the fact that you have no payroll. You won 80-plus games last year, finished over 500 with a crew of college students, and then decided to not supplement that roster. Damn you. Rays, they always scare me. You know, I lose sleep over the Rays. I know they played the Tigers, but sweep is a sweep, man. Sweep's a hard thing to do in baseball. That was also, were they on the road for that?
No, home sweep.
They were home. Okay,
sweep,
fine. I thought they were on the road for some reason, but sweep's a sweep. Pitching looks good. I'm not going to go Jeff Passan and say that this is the best rotation in the league when Tyler Glasnow comes back, but we know the Rays are always good in the pitching department, and the offense always has just enough. So their start to the season, pretty much what I expected out of them. And the Red Sox, you know, I mentioned Chris Sale briefly. I'm not judging the offense until they face a real team. The Orioles have a terrible pitching staff. They didn't make any worthwhile additions in the offseason to help it or to even give the younger guys some sort of mentor that they could work with, unless you count who did they sign? Was it
Cole? They traded for Cole Irvin. He pitched today. He was terrible.
There was an even more ridiculous signing that I'll figure it out in a second, but yeah, you make no supplementation to this roster. You just assume every young prospect is going to take the next step, whether it's at the MLB level from year 1 to year 2 or from AAA to Major League. Crazy approach, $50 million payroll. I guess we'll continue to see what happens, but yeah, Red Sox should have an under 500 record right now, which pisses me off.
Their May is crazy, but I almost wanted to give the "What are you doing?" schedule makers award to the Red Sox. Obviously, for obvious reasons.
Always.
that schedule's crazy. But then look at the Rays schedule. They get the Tigers. The Red Sox go to Detroit at least. It's probably cold in Detroit. I mean, the Red Sox are going to sweep that series. But Detroit goes to Tampa, easy sweep. Tampa heading on the road to face the Washington Nationals 4 and 5 starters. Best of luck. Then they come home and get the A's. Who the fuck did that? And then they play each other. Great. That'll be exciting.
Sick.
Cool.
Orioles signed Kyle Gibson.
Opening day starter Kyle Gibson.
That was the one. You got to be kidding me. And Austin Voth. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing.
Get out the Voth.
Yeah, and of course the Red Sox offense is going to perform against that. The Red Sox offense is always a juggernaut at Fenway Park. And when you have bad pitching, it's exacerbated. So I don't know. I want to see the Red Sox. I can't see a break like that this early in the offseason, especially the same day the Yankees lose in idiotic fashion too. That was a little bit too much to even just see the score update. I didn't even watch the games.
No. But I mean, imagine though, seeing the score change like in the window of a pizza shop. You're not even getting pizza, by the way. Like, even if I was in the pizza shop, at least I'm eating pizza.
Keanu Reeves standing outside the bar in hardball.
I'm outside. I'm like trying to get to another spot for the second half of FAU. I see the Red Sox score change. I go, you got to be kidding me. And then I sit down at the bar and I open Twitter, and the first tweet I see was somebody saying, this is the first 2-out, 2-run, go-ahead, walk-off Red Sox homer since Christian Vasquez in 2017 against the Cleveland, a game I actually remember. And then I'm like, of course it was 2 outs. Of course. Then I open the game day app and see the Yoshida reached on an error. And I was like, God, you truly have to be kidding me. And then I actually watched the play, and I'm like, if this were a little bit later in the season, I would be trying to leave Earth, not in an I died kind of way, but just in an I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to live anymore. It's that I don't want to live on Earth. I would live anywhere else. I would happily live anywhere else, just not Earth, if this is what happens on Earth.
Yeah, we got to expedite the Mars missions. I'll go to another universe. I don't even care at this point.
Sometimes I do wonder if baseball folded and you took the Yankees away from me, but then you also took the Red Sox away from me, if it'd be a net positive.
For sure.
I think it would be.
For sure. We got football at that point.
Baseball, my favorite sport. I do a Yankees podcast. Yankees, my favorite team. I would still be like, no Red Sox, no chance for Red Sox World Series. It's interesting to me. It's definitely interesting. Of course, the Yankees schedule not easy. Why would it be? The Yankees face the struggling NL champion Philadelphia Phillies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the stadium. Not only do the Yankees get the Phillies, but they get them coming in ice cold, which is arguably worse than them coming in red hot. I don't know. They're both bad, but it would be nice to just get them coming in normal. But instead, we have the Phillies for 3, go to Baltimore for 3, go to the Guardians for 3. Guardians are good. Guardians currently have the upper hand on the Seattle Mariners in a fairly even 4-game set to start the season. Phillies this week, what are your expectations? It's Nestor tomorrow and Taijuan Walker, whose velo looked down in the spring. Matt Strahm is supposedly starting on Tuesday against Domingo Germán. Matt Strahm also pitched in relief in the first game of the season, so I don't know if I buy that. And then Aaron Nola coming off a bummer of a start against Garrett Cole on Wednesday. Kind of a fun series this early in the season. I would love to win it. I would love to take 2 more of the 3.
Oh, a TBS game in the middle on Tuesday. Pretty cool. What am I expecting? I don't know. The Rangers scored 27 runs in the first 2 games of that series.
Yeah, we should have probably touched on the Rangers too, who are like, I don't know what that is, but it's Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, and the Rangers went supernova. So
yeah, very impressive. Obviously, I don't think. I mean, you have the Phillies bullpen. Yeah, it turned it up for the end of last year and got hot for a little while. Still don't think it's good. Still don't think Craig Kimbrell is the guy to truly anchor that unit. Philly starting pitching, it's solid. It's nothing special. I think Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are very good. I don't think either of them are necessarily game 1 starters in a postseason series if you're really looking to, win a championship. I know they almost got there last year, but both of those guys have susceptibility to get rocked. I also know most pitchers do that, but there is no fear from me with either of these guys. No. I understand they can blank me over 7 innings. But I also know that if they're not, pinpoint location that day, there's a good chance you're putting bat on ball and getting runners across the plate. So I think it'll be up to the Yankees pitching really, because Phillies offense, they got a lot of good guys on there. I can see Kyle Schwarber absolutely terrorizing us in Yankee Stadium. So as long as the rotation can kind of get through it and the bullpen the bullpen, look, I don't know what it's going to look like. Obviously, you don't want it to have a meltdown, but they got to figure out the structure over these next couple of days. It's still a work in progress, in my opinion. So I'd use that. It's a good challenge. The Phillies are coming into town. It's a good challenge. It's a good offense. Aaron Boone will have his work cut out for him. So will the guys who are trying to establish roles back there. But I'm not worried. I wouldn't have been worried if they came in hot. I'm not worried that they're playing with their backs against the wall at this point. We're 3 games into the season, and they have a game today to be able to salvage that series against Texas. So I like, Nestor getting his first start of the season against them. I'm not impressed with Taijuan Walker either. And Matt Strom, I can't even believe that that's a starting pitcher listed on ESPN right now. So I think we're in good hands.
Max Goodman just tweeted it out. He's claiming it actually is Matt Strom. So we shall see. Caitlin Clark and Iowa putting on the fireworks, trying to tighten this game, the women's national championship on ESPN right now after Jasmine Carson, someone I'd never heard of, somehow went 5 for 5 from 3 in the first half. LSU's Jasmine Carson. LSU is good. So we'll sign off. You should watch that. That's it for the first series recap episode of the season on the Yanks Go Yard podcast. Make sure to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Truly, wherever you get your podcasts. If you have a podcast platform that you love and we're not on them, let us know. That's embarrassing for us. It should not happen. We'll close that gap. You can find us live streaming most Mondays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock Eastern. This week, of course, that is a lie. We will not be on tomorrow. We were on today. Today is not tomorrow. And we will also not be on at 2 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. It'll be noon Eastern on Thursday. So that'll be after the Philly series. We'll do a full recap of that action, and we'll see you then. Please find us on the pod platforms or like and subscribe to this feed. It's the best thing you can do for us and for the Yankees. The Yankees actively are watching our subscribers. Not true, but hey, be cool if they were. Please do it. Until next time, you can find me on Twitter at Adam Weinrib. Thomas Carinante, where can the people find you?
I'm at Tommy's_takes. We are at the official Yanks Go Yard Twitter account at Yanks Go Yard FS. Hit us up there. You don't know which one of us is tweeting, so you better watch out. You better watch out. You better make sure you're talking shit to the right person. All right there. Yeah. Head on over to YanksGoYard.com. We got plenty of content there for you. Both of our bylines are there. A lot of funny stuff from opening day. Did a little thing on Jock Peterson yelling the F word. Good golly. It's funny stuff. We got plenty of pieces of content scheduled out already for the beginning of this week. We're ahead of it. We're rolling. And we appreciate you guys reading. We hope to hear from you soon. Keep the comments going. Keep the engagement going. And I feel validated in saying Zach Wheeler is not a true postseason game 1 starter because he's only had 6 career postseason starts. They all came last year, and he's 1-3. So I'm cool.
Bailey faltered tonight on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. How do we get so lucky? Why is this the game? See the Phillies and the Texas Rangers offense for yourself. Decide what the Yankees are going to do with them coming into this week. It's normal for the Yankees to start a season wonky. This one actually started pretty normal. 2 clean wins and a loss that looked exactly like most frustrating losses from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about bullpen roles this week. We will see you after the Philly series. Have a good Sunday night, everybody. Relax. Go Yanks.